Howdy, hi, how you doing?
Hello, are you with me? Are you there? Are you with me, Dr. Wu?
Or are you really just a shadow of the man that what I once knew?
I knew you would pitch in on that. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Paula will be happy. She heard some Steely Dan stuff.
Hi, folks. Welcome. Come on in. Have a seat.
Welcome back to the Oasizzz.
It's not midnight, but it is almost dark out.
Yeah. We're actually recording outside in the evening for the first time.
Too bad
I think
we don't have some generic cheesy 70s mood music for the background for being
too bad or too good.
Too good. Because the sun is going down and it's all cooling off out here and all that. So
it's our first time recording outside in the evening. It's actually just getting dark. It's the beginning of fall here in lovely Midwest.
Yeah. The drinks are tinkling. And
there you go. Reed's actually got an actual alcoholic beverage in his hand for a change. So
anyway.
And
there I go having a sip of it. Hi. And welcome and thanks for joining us on You Should Know This Song. I'm Reed of Apes.
And I am Rayce of Apes. And we are Mixed Apes.
You know us,
and
you love
so
us,
is you.
And you're one of us, it or not.
There you go.
You crossed the threshold. You passed through the membrane.
As we said last time, embrace it.
Embrace it.
Become one with it.
Right. You can't wash it off. There's no solvent or anything like that that will help you. So, be proud. Show it off.
What do you got there, bud? We got some.
What's on the menu here? Let's see.
I don't think there's any enchiladas on the menu.
There's no enchiladas on the menu. What a sad thing to say. There is some housekeeping.
Keeping of the nest, as it were.
Nest keeping to do. And sort of side comments and stuff like that.
From our previous endeavor?
Yes, from earlier.
Why don't you kick it off there, bud? Let's move it on.
Okay, I will. I'm not going to, argue with you for a second. How about this to get started with? These are generally related to previous episodes and things, but this one in particular is a personal experience that I could not help but be tickled by. It's something that I'm kind of surprised hasn't happened prior to, but last week, twice in the same week, a couple of family members called me or texted me,
reached out one way or the other,
and said, "Hey, there's this song, I can't think of it, and I know you'll know who the artist is, or you'll know what the song is, or whatever." Cool. And people through the years have tapped me on the shoulder in general or whatever. You don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this was like it was like, let's do a You Should Know This Song challenge. And, they basically challenged me because they couldn't think of who the artist was. So they gave me some lyrics or whatever. And one of the songs was, for what it's worth, Creed's song Higher. And the other was Joe Jackson's Steppin' Out. One was my brother-in-law and the other was my child.
Was the Steppin' Out?
The Steppin' Out was my brother-in-law,
okay.
And the Creed song was my kid because it's an amusing part of the story that I just feel like
you got to share.
I should share.
Oh, come on.
Hey, Dad, listen, I'm really buzzed right now, and there's this song that I have to hear, but I can't think of the name of it, and it's just going around and around in my head, and I know you'll know what it is, so I'm going to tell you a few words, and you tell me what this song is.
Very cool. Very cool. Isn't that the best shit?
It was
like
so
when the kids
great.
do it?
I mean, it was just the greatest. So that's my little nest keeping.
But just your little
story,
share.
My little share.
We came together, as many of you may know, but we came together working together for a while. And long after you were gone, there was kind of a thing in the warehouse, and I had some people that I worked with in the warehouse and knew really well, and I would pop my head in once in a while, and there was quite often was like, "Hey, Rayce will know. Hey, that song, blah blah blah."
Right.
Or I would walk in and like, "Hey, can anybody tell me where Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer came from?"
Right.
Pop a little thing out there for them to like kind of, and I'd come back a half an hour later and like, "Oh man, Bob thinks it's this, and Joe thinks it's this," but like it was fairly common occurrence, probably once every couple of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'd walk in and they'd go like, "Hey man, we were talking about this song, and you're gonna know this."
Right.
And it was always very, very satisfying and a little, ego inflating, if you will.
Sure.
You know,
a little ego stroking.
very cool. Very cool.
But all of that precursor to what we've been doing here.
Yeah.
For the past several months, 38 episodes.
30. Yeah, we're around there somewhere.
You know what? We just did. I think we were getting ready to post 38, and we should have called it 38.
Oh
my gosh!
Well,
maybe it's not too late.
Have we posted it yet? Yeah, exactly. We'll take care
too
of it.
late. So
Episode
there was a little something for me to share. Another note. I'll just jump on this one real quick. It's pretty brief. Recent episode we talked about and played some humble pie. We did a challenge on a humble pie song, whatever, and then talked about the humble pie album live at the Fillmore. I was of the impression that very specifically the name of that album was Performance Rockin' the Fillmore East, but it is only Performance Rockin' the Fillmore. And I want to make sure that little note is
It may have predated them calling that the Fillmore East because they really didn't until later.
Yeah,
so who knows? But
it's possible.
No, thank you for pulling that out.
For the correction, there's one of my nest keepings. What do you got?
Well, I'm actually gonna do one of yours.
Oh yeah, that is kind of mine.
Eddie Money. We talked about Eddie Money in a previous episode.
Yeah.
And mentioned that there was a famous producer that kind of discovered him, whatever. And we couldn't come up with his name. We came up with it before the end of the episode. It was Bill Graham. But we had kind of the impression that he was, while he was a cop in New York, he was seen by somebody and kind of got a demo going and that
this story that I remembered hearing actually, and the way I remember hearing it was on the radio conversation or interview with somebody was, as I remembered it, that Eddie Money being a New York cop and in New York having, gotten his first demo heard by Bill Graham and what have you, but that is not the way it went down.
Yeah, when I was looking up a little bit further on Bill Graham and the Eddie Money story, I found that, in fact, he was a police officer, but he was never an on-the-street police officer. He worked like in records and administration and that kind of thing. And he decided he didn't want to do it. And his dad, his brother, and his grandfather had all been New York police officers.
Yeah.
And, so he said he didn't want to do it. And his dad was so PO'd, he went into his room because he still lived at home and ripped down the Jimi Hendrix posters and other posters that were on his rock and roll posters that were on his wall.
Blasphemy.
And the main problem with Eddie Money, besides the fact that he wanted to play rock and roll, was police force wouldn't let him grow his hair.
Oh, yeah.
It was a big deal for him.
Right.
So he quit being a cop and moved to L.A. and started going to school at one of the big universities
and growing
out there.
his hair.
And growing his hair. And for 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years, somewhere in there, he was Eddie No Money.
Yes.
Like that, who's actually called Eddie No Money by his friends because he was always broke. And he became pretty well known on the local scene, but he wasn't making it anywhere.
Right.
And then he was at an amateur night at the Winter Garden, which is a famous ballroom out west in L.A. I believe in L.A. It might be in San Francisco. And Bill Graham saw him and was like, "Hey, you got something. I'll be your manager.
Right, let's do this.
And from there, it was pretty much the overnight sensation thing at that point. But he had been living on the West Coast pretty much hand to mouth, eating ravioli out of the can was the quote that I saw.
Yeah.
Prior to getting his break. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we set that right.
One of those great stories. And it's good to, not only good to have it set right, but good to hear the actual tale. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Hear how things went down.
You got something else?
The only other thing I'll touch on, I'll do 2 quick things. How about that?
Sure.
This is only
Observation?
An observation. We talked about Jack White in a recent episode and things related to him, and I was taking a stab at, how old is he? It's probably surprising. Well, Jack White's 49 years old.
Well, actually, doesn't your note say 49 fucking years old?
It does say 49 fucking years old, with all of the alarm about him not being in his 30s or something still that I can muster. It's just incredible to me to think that Jack White's almost 50.
And, after we talked about Jack White, I went and looked, and man, there's a boatload of music. And, I knew that it was all there, but I never actually saw it en masse.
Sure.
There's a boatload of stuff that he's done by himself, that he did with his sister, that he did with or he's sat in or done other
Oh
stuff.
my gosh,
It's an amazing amount
he
of
has
productivity.
been weaving himself through the fabric for.
He's the current day Dave Grohl. How about that?
How about that? How about that? Okay, so there's that, and quickly the Proclaimers song, I'm Gonna Be, parentheses 500 miles, was a challenge in a recent episode, and Rayce asked what the term in the song, or in the album name, Sunshine on Leith, what the term Leith refers to, and Leith is most likely, at least, the river that runs through Edinburgh, Scotland. And that would seem to make sense. As far as I can find, that's what the name refers to on the album, and that's the meaning of the word. It's the River Leith. So there you go.
All right.
Now you're worldly wise and culturally just, savvy. Just you're savvy.
You are savvy apes.
You are. Glamour is right around the corner. Okay, so we're going to get into some challenges and stuff.
So I see we're doing mixed apes.
Yeah, we're going to kind of do some rando stuff. Just whatever kind of challenge comes out of our ape holes.
Okay, don't say that one again, please.
So let's get down to some mixed apes, mixed ups, shall we? I started with the nest keeping and the corrections and stuff. You start a clue.
All right, well, I'm going to give you a starting lines.
All right.
I got something for you here. Let's see what you think about this one.
Start at the start. Okay, my lyric challenge is, a hot summer night fell like a net. Yes, the next line is going to be, I got to find my baby yet.
So the reason I kind of brought this out there, and that's Dr. Doctor.
Dr. Robert Palmer.
Well, that's kind of the thing. It's actually a Moon Martin tune.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He wrote it and did a version of it.
Right, did his own recording.
He did it in 78. 1979 is when Robert Palmer had the hit.
Mm-hmm.
And if Moon Martin doesn't mean anything to anybody, he had a hit with a song called Rolene that was pretty popular.
Yeah.
Like you definitely know that song even if you don't think you do.
Right.
The album was 1978, as I said, Shots from a Cold Nightmare. John David Moon Martin. And he's one of those guys also that, like, his fingerprints are all over a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If I can't come up with a song of his right off the top of my head, I know, having seen and heard his name in...
He wrote a bunch of stuff, too,
yeah.
that other people did. Yeah. So anyway, by the way, from that particular challenge, we have, for the playlist, Robert Palmer and Moon Martin playing Dr. Doctor,
right,
and Rolene from Moon Martin.
Rolene, no.
See how we did that?
Slip that in there, too.
Absolutely. So what do you got there, my friend?
Okay, well, I will... Thanks for that, by the way, because either way, I'm remembering the Robert Palmer version of the song,
sure,
and it's great, and I love it, and now it's spinning around in my head. So maybe just a moment of silence to let everybody enjoy that spinning around in their head for a minute.
No, we got enough.
Okay. I got a starting line for you.
Okay.
And I'm kind of tickled about it, like the possibility here. So I hope it doesn't, crash and burn. But check this out. See what you come up with.
All right. This is I Do Believe in You, and I believe the next line should be, and I Know You Believe in Me.
That's
oh,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
That'd be Chicago, Feeling Stronger Every Day, 1972 maybe?
Oh, 73. Very close, very close.
I've been digging some Chicago lately. I haven't heard that one. And we've talked before about Chicago in the pre-adult contemporary mode.
Yeah, Chicago Transit Authority and then the first couple.
I got to tell you, if you don't know them before that whole adult contemporary mode, you don't know the band because it's a completely different band, man. They rock
there's
their
some
asses
very,
off.
very real music. Rock and roll and jazz blended and blues blended
and horns,
music.
man. Like they had a
great.
I don't
horn
even
section.
know, like generally you know who the horn section is when there's a band that's got or there's a guest horn section.
Right.
Well, there were like 6 or 7 guys in the band They
Right.
were just the horns guys.
Yeah, yeah.
You
They
know?
were a big. They
were huge.
big outfit, and I don't think this is probably anything that most of our audience doesn't know pretty thoroughly. Because man, Chicago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But to think about their first several albums as Chicago, and how, like you said, I mean, the horn section was tight and playing some really cool rock horn section stuff. Anyway, I could go into it, but this song, Feeling Stronger Every Day, you can think of the guitar hook in there, that
Absolutely.
cool guitar hook. You can think of the cool horns. You can think of a couple of tempo changes in there where it gets to pumping pretty hard.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. It's a cool song.
Absolutely.
And an example of what we're talking about. So it'll be on the playlist and everybody will get to enjoy it. That was written by Peter Cetera and James Pankow, 73 off of Chicago 4 album. And that's what I got on that.
And that was a white album with the big black Chicago and the Roman numeral 4, if I remember correctly, right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stick with starting lines because I got some cool ones here. This one, I'm pretty sure that you're going to know, but it may take both clues. So here you go.
All right, let's see about this. I should know this song. My first line is, I saw her today. I saw her face. And I think the next line is going to be, it was a face I loved.
And I knew. Very
I
good.
had to run
Very
away.
good. So I know
Yeah.
you know the song,
Yeah, I don't know that I know the background of this.
but do you know who the original artist is?
It sounds very Buddy Holly-ish to me, but
It's the Searchers.
Searchers. So I'm
Who
not...
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head anything else that they did.
Wow,
and this
that's
one,
so bizarre because when you said the name, it's the Searchers, and my mind was like shuffling through the names of the era, around the Buddy Holly thing that would have contributed to a song like that. I was like, well, sure, I know the Searchers.
and
know
then
what I
like
mean?
you can't think of anything else
And
they
now I
did.
can't think of one thing,
The song is Needles and Pins, written by Jack Nietzsche and Sonny Bono. Sonny, no Bono shit.
No crapola.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
1960
can't imagine there are two Sonny Bonos.
No, it's got to be him. It's got to be
yeah.
him. 1964. And this one's there. It's going to be a longer playlist because there's a half a dozen people that do a cover of this.
A version, a cover of it. Yeah,
and I'm going to hit 2 or 3 of them here.
Yeah.
The song, again, Needles and Pins. It was originally a single. There's a cover by the Ramones. There's a cover by Willie DeVille.
I
There's
think
a cover.
I heard the Ramones cover. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's very, very standard Ramones.
Yeah.
And actually, the song itself is like it sounds like a Ramones tune.
Yeah.
Like other than the original song, other than the distinctive Ramones lyrics, singing style.
Right.
But it's very much in that same needles and pins.
I was going to say that the actual pronunciation of the name of the song is Needles and Pinza.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ramones, Willie DeVille, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
I have heard that.
And that's a
version.
good one. And I think there's a Chrissy Hind cover, or if it's not Chrissy Hind, it's, and I don't know this, this is not in my notes, but if it's not Chrissy Hind, it's Pat Benatar. One of the two of them.
Huh. Yeah.
did a
Either way,
cover.
I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, so that'll be in there. And it's one of those songs that every time I hear it, it's a big smile on my face.
I know.
And I don't know why, because I think it's the staccato way the lyrics are sung.
Yeah,
You know what I
maybe
mean?
so.
The
Yeah,
style- 'cause-
it's a jangle rock tune
yeah.
also with a
It
good,
was a face I
good
loved,
rhythm and beat to
and
it.
I
whatever.
knew.
Yeah.
So
So
anyway.
that'll be cool to have a few of the versions on the playlist and get it rolling around in my head too. Very cool. I guess that makes it my turn. Yeah.
I would say, yeah. What do you got, Bar?
Okay, I'm going to do a straight up prime
Oh, Prime.
for you, and so here is your "You Should Know This Song" challenge to start with.
I sang this song 100, maybe 1,000 years ago. Well, that's an awful cool line, but it's not ringing any bells. What's the next line?
Kind of glad because I'm really hoping you get this. I'm hoping it rings into your head. As I say, that's kind of the best part. So here is challenge number 2, and you should know this song.
No one ever listened. I just play and then I'd go. So let me ask you a question. Should I really know this song?
Oh, you should know this song.
Do I know this song?
I'm 99.9% certain
All right,
that you
so
know,
I don't-
and I'm 99% certain you love this song. So maybe it'll break it through if I say I sang this song 100, maybe 1,000 years ago. No one ever listened. I just play and then I go off into the sunset like the Western heroes do. Tell me what's your point of view.
Oh man, I can hear it,
Yeah,
but I can't.
can't you
oh.
know? You should see his face. He does this to
hold
me all
on.
the time. You should see his face.
What's your point of view?
Right.
It sticks.
No, you're close. You're close.
What is it, man?
Kansas.
Okay. There, oh yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
I sang this song 100.
Miracles out of nowhere.
Yeah. What a love and miracles out of nowhere is not the title, but that's the line.
Right.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
and miracles out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a great. Oh man, thank you.
Yeah, isn't that nice to have in your
Tell me
head?
what's your point of
You think about the
view?
beginning of the song. You think about the breaks in the song and the changes.
Off
I
into the
mean, it's a
sunset,
cool
The
song.
Western heroes do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, those first 3 Kansas albums, man.
Yeah.
They're just to me.
Oh.
I don't think there's
Turn them on and play them.
comparable.
Just turn
You know
them
what
on
I
and
mean?
play them all the way through. Really cool. I played a particular Kansas song. I can't remember which it is now. Several months ago for my daughter, and it was that one of those conversations you're having with your young adult kid who is far enough from your generation that
They don't
the
know.
music that they're not familiar with. Some of that, like this song, is
Right.
nothing that's going to be on their
Yeah, I wouldn't
Spotify,
expect
their
any of
streaming.
my 4 kids to know this song.
And the jazz fusion, the instrumentation, the progressive rock aspect of it, and all that, and
The
knowing
musicianship alone.
the
yeah.
musicianship, and knowing that compared to what mostly she's exposed to, this is over the top.
Right.
Right. It's like, what am I listening
So how did
to?
she do?
Kind of thing.
What is he saying?
She was a mix of impressed and like, oh my God, come on, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's too much. And I was like, oh, it's so cool. It's just so cool.
That's the.
So there was a mixed appreciation for
Sure.
it and a sort of a
Come on, Dad.
right.
Yeah.
That's old sounding. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I that second album, "Song for America." I mean, in all 3 of the first albums, I love them to death, and
Yeah,
I know them pretty much. Apparently not, but I know them pretty much. Every song, right? I mean, like if I can't pull it out of my head, I can sing along when it's on. But that "Song for America" album, it's so orchestral,
Yeah.
and yet so based in rock and roll.
Yeah.
And that kind of that dichotomy to me is really cool.
Oh, I'm super attracted to it. I mean, ringing in my head right now, that da 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 da.
Yeah,
That getting started is just, it's enough. It's cool. Anyway, okay, so that was Kansas, Miracles Out of Nowhere, written by Carrie Livgren from 1978 off of Two for the Show. And that makes it your turn to do something. Do something, Rayce.
And by the way, Two for the Show is the live release of that.
Oh,
I believe that's actually on Song for America, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right about that also. Because
Imagine that. I'm right. Don't tell anybody. I've got a reputation to uphold.
I am certain you're right. I just plucked that in a hurry
Sure.
and didn't even think about it. And I definitely know better.
All right. So am I holding or am I?
No, you're moving on, and
right.
I'll pay attention.
So
but
this
I
is a
am
twist
gonna...
and shout for you. And I think you're going to really, really like this. You should know some lyrics to James Taylor's Steamroller Blues.
Heap and hunk of steaming junk.
I'd
Yeah.
like nothing better than a roll all over you.
Over you, yeah.
And
that is...
I got to tell you now, like the original version of that is on Sweet Baby James, right? I mean, like
Okay, yeah.
1970, right? And
Sure.
this is one of the very first albums that was produced by the Beatles for Abbey Road. He was one of
Okay.
the very first artists. I think he was just after. Who is it? The band that sounds like the Beatles. That
Dave Clark 5.
no. Sorry, it'll come back to me in a minute. Badfinger.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think Badfinger may have been the first, and then I think James Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, was like the next or second or third artist that was signed by Apple Records.
Okay. Yeah.
And that original version is a very funky blues rock,
Yeah.
kind of over the top. He really does the lyrics in, right? But when I was looking this up, there's 6 different live versions that are bad fuckers.
All by James Taylor.
All by James Taylor.
James Taylor.
And his band. I mean, it's like if you YouTube it, if you look on
Yeah.
YouTube for it, like there's a dozen and there's a half a dozen that are just badass.
Right,
I mean,
right.
And the whole band, like, this is a crowd pleaser. This song is one that, like, he really, his fans really love hearing this because it's not standard James Taylor, right? I mean, it's
Right.
It's, I'm singing my ass off on this blues rock
It's a
tune as
blues
opposed
song,
to the
and
kind
I'm
of
getting into
James Taylor stuff that we know and love.
Right.
So I'm not sure which live version is going to end up on the playlist, and it may be two.
Maybe a couple. I was going to say you got some
because
options
it's
there,
some
right?
bad stuff. I mean, badass stuff, man.
Yeah, nice.
Anyway,
nice.
1970s, Sweet Baby James Taylor, Steamroller Blues. I'd like nothing better than to roll all over you.
I love that song, man. I just love that song. I think probably in part because it is a little juxtaposition for him.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's a great song. Very enjoyable lyrics, and he does just a badass job with the song on the studio version. It's so enjoyable.
Even the studio version is pretty cool.
Really cool. I'm gonna back up just a minute. Did you give all the propers?
I did.
I'm gonna back up a minute to that Kansas
Okay.
Mystery. Which album is it on? Miracles Out of Nowhere. I kept seeing the album cover in my head, and you said Song for America, and then I was like, I don't think that's the album cover, but for God's sake, couldn't remember the name. Left Overture.
It was the fourth album.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's
the old man's.
Yeah, that's the one that had the big hit for him.
Carry On My Wayward Son is on there. The Wall is on there.
Yeah, I saw their third album tour at the Randhurst Ice Arena in Illinois somewhere, in northern Illinois
Randhurst.
somewhere. The Randhurst
I think
Ice
I
Arena.
remember you telling me that.
Yeah, I also
story.
saw Montrose there, yeah.
Right.
For this show, I was drunk before the show started, and I was probably 19, 18 in there, and not used to drinking real drinking. But I do
Little
remember.
in over your head.
Yeah, I do remember the show. It was great stuff. All right, so
Cool.
It's your turn, sir.
Nice. So there's a little nest keeping in advance of future episodes.
Thank you.
Okay, what do I got here? I got a prime that you are going to get a huge kick out of.
Cool.
Man, I'm pretty sure you'll know this. Anyway, you should know this song. What do you think?
Legs Up with a Book and a Drink. Legs Up with that's Squeeze.
Yeah.
Is that love? Is this love?
Nice. Is that love?
Is that love? Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
nice.
was quick.
1978, 79 in there.
81.
Okay.
81.
I was in the
Very
neighborhood.
close. So, is that love that's
It's
making you think?
Legs
Yeah.
Up with the that's good.
That song
I know
is
that you're
really
a big
cool.
Squeeze fan, and I didn't even you probably knew this when it was new.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't become a Squeeze fan until 4 or 5 years later, and it was great because there was all these hits. There were 10 or 12 hits by 1985. There was a bunch of stuff. All of a sudden I'm getting it. And the same thing happened by the way
Christmas
with
Day for you with the Squeeze.
another band that you love, that we both love, Little Feat. I didn't discover Little Feat until probably 1985 or 86.
Yeah.
And by then they were already pretty much
some,
done, right?
Right. They had some shit under their belts.
I mean, so there's 6 albums of shit. It's wow, this is cool.
Right.
So yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
What's the
that's a cool
what's the
song.
specifics on this?
And this is just one of my favorite Squeeze songs. Again, it's very quirky and it's so cool. The melody is I don't know, the melody, the lyrics, the whole thing. So that is from 1981 off of East Side Story, written by Difford and Tilbrook.
Oh, and was it pretty much everything almost by then?
Pretty much
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. So that'll be on the playlist, and I'm excited about that. So far, I'm excited about everything that's going to be on the playlist. So here we go.
I got 2 more that I want to do, and we're coming right up on 30 minutes. I know we're trying to keep our episodes around there, but I want to get 2 more in, so that means 2 more each, right?
Yes.
Or at least 2 more for me and 1 more for you. So also from Twist and Shout, for Twist and Shout, you should know some lyrics to Yellow Moon by the Neville Brothers.
Oh, have you seen that Creole woman? Can you tell me, is she out with another man?
There you go.
With your eyes so big and shiny, you can see the whole damn land. Oh my gosh.
That's a great and Neville Brothers. They're one of those. There's no such thing as a bad tune.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you don't know the
So
Neville
cool.
Brothers, there are like 5 or 6 brothers and a cousin or two, and maybe a dad or an uncle
It's
in
a
there.
family affair.
Yeah, and several of them have degrees in music and are.
Yeah.
Aaron Neville went on to have a solo career pretty much on his own.
Right.
And his music is good, but I like it much better when he's singing with the fam.
Yeah,
You know?
the group there definitely.
It's an amazing collection of musicians, and they play a wide variety of they do some. I mean, there's some definite funk and soul, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's some R&B in there, and then they
Some
do like
bayou,
a whole
some
lot of
bayou.
bayou and
Yeah.
New Orleans
Zydeco
stuff.
mixed in
Absolutely.
and that kind of thing.
It's a
Absolutely.
very interesting thing.
very cool band, and
Yeah.
That's
So
worth,
that's the Neville Brothers off of the Yellow Moon album, 1989. Aaron Neville was not only the lead singer, and he had kind of a weird tremolo thing that he did with his voice that was pretty cool. Also the
he's,
songwriter.
renowned for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
All right, what do you got, brother?
That's a good one. I will. Let's see. I was gonna pick that one, but I think I'm gonna say to get it in this playlist, I'm gonna give you a prime, but it's a super laydown.
Okay, cool. I'm lazy.
And I just couldn't get the song out of my head recently, and I was like, it's a song that you have in your head with some regularity. I think I speak for both of us. So because it's a very popular, very known song,
It doesn't
I
show
kept
up on
telling myself to preclude it. Like,
Yeah.
you don't put that in the show. Everybody knows that song. But part of it is just to get to enjoy
the song.
these songs and get it in everybody's head.
And by the way, just so y'all know, we still trade lyric challenges
on the
during
side
the week.
all the time.
Yeah.
All
I
the
mean,
time.
like in between episodes, and sometimes it's really basic. Like, hey, man, I heard like Jailhouse Rock today. You know,
Right,
and
right.
sometimes, like this week, I had him with one. Actually, I think I might toss that in here. I had him with one
yeah.
that like all day long, and I sent him pretty much every single lyric to the song except the title.
Right.
And he couldn't get it. And I really dug that day. Like that was really cool.
That was really rewarding, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I have thought a number of times about just taking the challenges that we trade in text week after week after week for how many years now?
Yeah.
And just dumping them into the blog part of the website. You know what I mean?
So that people can dig on it.
But not giving the answers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just dropping the lyric challenges in, dropping them in, because we've got hundreds. Hundreds of them.
Yeah. If I hadn't deleted all the text that I have from you as every opportunity I get,
Right.
it would be,
It would be different.
Anyway, what do you got, man?
Okay, you should know this song. You know this song very well.
If you believe in things you don't understand, this is Superstition.
Yeah.
And now, which version are you referencing?
Well, you have to give props to Stevie Wonder, obviously. And I must admit, I'm probably narrowly a fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers version, just because of how they just
I didn't even know they did a version of this.
Stomp it up.
This is the song that Stevie Wonder was.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you got this mixed up with a different song with Higher Ground.
Higher Ground. You're right. Right.
Okay, cool.
Damn it.
So that's all right. You're allowed to be wrong, especially when you're at my house.
Right.
Because I get off on it.
Get the best of it. Who was I thinking
This
of?
is the song that Stevie Wonder wrote for Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
And Jeff Beck, if I remember correctly, because of either an album tour or contractual obligations, couldn't get the song out. And so then Stevie Wonder, through his management, was like, we got to release this song.
Right.
And they released
This
it
has to
before
happen.
Jeff Beck did. And then Jeff Beck did a version of this. And the Jeff Beck version, I believe it's on the Beck, Bogert, and Appice album. Mm-hmm. And Jeff Beck, Tim Bogert, Carmine Appice.
Right.
They were both the same level of musician as Jeff Beck was.
Right.
And the bass line is boom, 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 down, 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 down. I mean, it's just kick ass.
Right.
So they're both versions will definitely be on this playlist.
Oh, yeah.
And either version is fine with me.
Let's have both of those. And
Cool.
I guess we're not going to put Higher Ground by the Red Hot Chili Peppers on there.
I think we have to.
because
We spoke about
It
it.
kind of slipped in the conversation.
That is
but
one
it
of my
wasn't
fave
really
covers,
a
by
challenge.
the way.
I know.
It does. But that isn't the criteria. The
I know.
criteria is
I know.
if we mention a song by name,
Right.
And does that mean, I guess we have to play both versions of that too, right? Damn. 2 Stevie Wonder songs, Jeff Beck and Chili Peppers. What a drag,
Oh, man. Sorry, folks. Sorry
And if
about
you're not
that.
listening to the playlists, you're lost, kids, because they're great.
They're
I'm
really
loving
cool.
them, man.
I agree. They're really cool. Okay, so that was me. You said you wanted to do one more?
Here, so I'm going to give you an Ask and Be Deceived, or Ask and You Shall Deceive.
Nice, thank you.
Because I always get the title of that wrong. You ready? This is verbally done.
Right, verbally done, verbally delivered. Go.
Who goes bowling at the bowling lanes, drinks a few beers, and bowls a few frames?
Oh my gosh. I know this song.
And 2 answers will support.
Drinks a few beers and bowls a few frames.
Drinks a few beers, bowls a few frames. Actually, there are 3 right answers to this.
Oh, my brain is just smoldering right now.
Okay,
you got any more? That's not the way it works.
Yeah, sure, there's more. Give me a sec. My friend drives a Chrysler. I drive a Dodge.
Yeah, what is this? You wouldn't know. Oh, my gosh.
Well, you could have said The Bomber. You could have said Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh.
Or you could have said An Ordinary Average Guy. That's the name of the song. Ordinary Average Guy, off of the album of the same name. And this was after Joe had pretty much, I think this might have been just before or just after he joined the Eagles. He was like, his rock and roll career, I'm not going to say it was on the downside, but like he'd already like hit his peak.
Right, he'd had a few major things. Rocky Mountain Way was out there and that kind of thing. Right?
And I'm a big fan of his time with
James Gang.
James Gang, and even the Tommy Bolin James Gang stuff too.
Yeah.
But we could go off there for a while.
We could go there, yeah.
And we need to get to the end of the episode. So, so anyway, that was Joe Walsh, Ordinary Average Guy, 19. Didn't capture it. Got to be sometime in the late 80s, early 90s.
I haven't heard that song in
I heard it on the radio,
cool
and it was like, I heard it on the radio.
I heard it on the radio.
And it was like, oh man, this is a great song, and what great lyrics! Like,
I know.
And all of his lyrics were kind of tongue in cheek and like,
yeah.
Kind of a screw you to society,
quirky, a little humorous, and stab in the eye.
Yeah,
very cool, very cool. That'll be great to have on the playlist. Also, I keep referencing the playlist, but my gosh. Okay, so
you got one more. You got one more because I started.
Okay, well I'll do another. This is a starting line. I can't give you all that. I have to give you part of it. Here, hold on.
Okay, whatever.
I like it when the starting lines work on just a bare bones few words.
I know, bare bones. Watch that now.
Yeah. So you should know the starting words to this song.
Birds flying high. Can you give me less, Reed? Because that's not.
Well, that was the idea. I was going to give you this much and a little more, so I'll add part of it to it. But
Birds
I think
flying
that
high,
gives it
you
away.
know how I feel. No, it's not clicking. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Nope. What is it?
Wait, I'm going to give you another.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you another
now
line.
you got to give me too much, right?
Because now I'm like, I know you know this song. I didn't do it. There you go.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. No, it's not clicking.
Wow, it's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Bam, 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 bam. Nina Simone, feeling good.
No.
What?
How do I not know this?
Oh my God, I know you know this song. I mean, I know you know this song.
When I put it on the playlist, I'll recognize it.
It
right?
is a huge, huge song. Yeah, it's just not coming to mind.
Yeah.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. She starts off singing,
she's
solo.
so amazing.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she's unbelievable, and the song is
as well
renowned because of her.
Yeah,
and it's just a remarkable song. Anyway, it's kind of heavy, Sade flair.
Sure,
jazz, blues stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
with just a hammer and beat. Anyway, I'm gonna predict that you're going to get texted and berated about not recognizing.
Oh, probably,
the song.
yeah. There are several people who will smack me in the head for that. That there is always someone willing to smack me in the head.
Yeah. So that's Nina Simone, of course, a song written by Anthony Newley. And Leslie.
Really?
Yeah. And
Okay, so there's
yeah.
a bunch of people out there besides you and me and my sister who have no idea who does. He was a very popular guy back in the 70s for a while.
Yes.
And very strange voice, very weird.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry for taking it. I didn't mean to.
No, it is an interesting little thing to go down, but we could go down there. With Leslie Bercusi, I hope I pronounced that last name right. 1965, I Put a Spell on You. I Put a Spell on You.
What's the name of the album?
I Put a Spell on You was the name of the album. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one that got covered by a bunch of people. We'll cover that in another episode.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was fun, and that is all to the Mixed Apes, Mixed Upz section of challenges for this APEisode.
Very nice. This has been cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of an impromptu, tossed together episode, really, and it came out very nice.
I really do like. I mean, I know that we kind of probably shouldn't do it all the time, but I really love doing. Mixed
Well,
Upz.
I'll talk to the boss and hold on. Yeah, he just said it's okay.
He said it's okay. If we just do
hold on.
If that's
The other
format of
boss,
the
is
show.
it okay with him?
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Who came up with that idea?
I mean, why not? Does the format really have to be? It's a single type of challenge? Not really. It's challenges.
Well, and maybe it lends to just keeping things, different, mixed up,
Mixed Upz.
fresh, Mixed Upz.
For the mixed apes.
Yeah, so
Cool.
maybe that's what we do with more frequency. I don't know that there's a strong argument
Against it?
to needing to do an episode that's only Prime or only.
Yeah, the only thing there only should be is the uncontrolled substance, because that just lets us talk nonstop.
Right. It's not challenges.
All right, so
it lets us talk nonstop without anything interrupting us.
there you go. This is we are the Mixed Apes.
We both and you are the Mixed Apes, and you've been here. Can you feel it?
And you're not getting this time back, just so you know.
Right.
It's gone now. And this has been You Should Know This Song.
Yes, that's
we
right.
really appreciate you joining us and hanging out for a bit.
Right.
Wait a minute. I haven't heard, there's one phrase I haven't heard today.
Is it about donating?
I think it might be.
I'm going to say it very correctly. Donate to Wikipedia.
Oh, look at you.
Donate to Wikipedia.
And one more time.
And donate to Wikipedia.
There you go.
And I hope you'll donate to everything and anything that's a good cause, that's valid
absolutely.
and worthy. And I don't mean to suggest that Wikipedia is going to save the world.
No.
And the reason I'm bringing that up, as weird as it might sound, is because earlier today, to be very brief, went on the Alzheimer's walk in the area. And there are obviously very valid other charitable things to donate to. I don't mean to discount them, but the importance of Wikipedia that revolves around this show and some other things in the world,
absolutely,
we like it. So,
and if you got a couple extra bucks, whether it's Wikipedia or Alzheimer's or cancer research or whatever it may be, or any of the charities that show up on our website.
Yes, yeah, got a number on there.
If you can help out, help out. It's what being a people's all about.
Yes, do good things. Be great. Be great. What's it? Humankind.
Humankind. Be both. Yes,
both.
that's my favorite one. All right, folks. Well, thanks very much. I think we're going to say we're out.
We're cutting ourselves off. It's hard to do, but see ya.
Bye-bye.